Chapter 5. Indeed, this is a glorious day. The rain falls and the air is clean. Rain is falling generously on the planet and Mother Earth begins the washing of herself in earnest. Is it being engineered? It would appear so, but are their contemptuous machines all that powerful? Do not be so sure. Remember that Earth is a projection of thought and thought is self-aware and interacts within itself to greater or lesser degrees. Would Earth think to a greater or a lesser degree? That is a question to contemplate. This is a moment in which to be aware of the changing of the guard. It seems that the destiny of the planet has been wrested from the control of its inhabitants, as it would appear the control of the Republic of the USA has been taken from its people. Movement within the conscious awareness of the inhabitants present has begun. These levels of consciousness are subtle and they are powerful. Notice of this change in consciousness is not at a vibratory level that will alert the negative forces. Its momentum builds within the subtle powerful planes of energy forces that hold this planet in focus. It is thought interacting within itself. It is acting in concert as a changing perception of the mass consciousness that is similar to a natural shedding process. Like the snake, there is an itchiness that is being felt. This process allows for a time of vulnerability and danger from enemies, for it is an internal process. The snake indeed goes within an available den because during this internal process it becomes literally blind. All focus is within itself as the process goes through its formation of a new outside experience, for it has outgrown its ability to continue as it is. Even the covering of the eyes is changed so that it sees its world anew. Only the death of the snake can prevent this cyclical occurrence, thus it takes great care during this process. This is an apt analogy for our consideration of the progress of mankind through what appears to be a dilemma of great proportion. Just as the fetus grows too large for the womb and must give up its current experience and adventure out into a completely new environment, there are guiding examples throughout nature to suggest this process is a natural phase of manifested life experience. The separation of man from nature by being herded into metropolitan areas is not an accident. It has been used many times to suppress individual power to control the experience of life. Closely compacted form is more easily pushed to and fro in the effort of moving individuals into experiences that are contrary to their natural desires toward individual responsibility in choosing their life experience. This herding smothers the natural desires and opens the psyche to influence by the confusion that is drawn within the totality of the being. There is a fundamental call within each for balance. The lack of ability to choose experiences freely causes a distortion of energy pattern that brings intuitional discomfort and searching to change that feeling. This need is then led into unending streams of unfulfilling pursuits by those who would change the destiny of this planetary experience. However, there are ingrained patterns of experience that are reminiscent of the skin-shedding process that cannot be distorted. The negative forces have their time schedule that must be met. The timing of this process of human skin changing is not one that they are privy to know, no matter how they analyze and reanalyze the human experience from their perspective. Can you now realize that thought thinking within itself has created fail-safe checks that prevent destruction if at all possible? Again, we are faced with that one element that can put on hold even the fail-safe checks and balances. Free will. Each has personal responsibility for the use of this great gift of the Creator. He has confidence that fragments of himself may enjoy taking themselves to the edge of extinction for the fun of the adventure. But, just as in your action movies, a depiction of this underlying adventurous focus, through perfect timing the hero moves through the scenario with hardly a scratch or at least nothing that cannot be healed. Sometimes you miss the point of the movies. You are now at the critical place in the script. It is time to write in the shift of momentum from the bad guys to the hero so that he can experience that unexpected twist of the storyline that allows for his harrowing escape, leaving the bad guys holding the bag. Let us hope that this is not a Superman or secret agent adventure in which again there is no end to the bad guy and another adventure between them is waiting in the wings. You have already experienced those scripts. Again, you have missed the point of the movies. Do you feel that sense of satisfaction of evil vanquished when you leave that genre of movie? That is the point of it. To always leave you with the idea that evil remains no matter what you do. Were not your experiences in Korea, Vietnam, and Desert Storm outward depictions of this same frustrating movie? All wars have this same result, it has just not been part of the plan until recently to flaunt it so plainly for you to see. Your ability to discern and react is being tested over and over. Why else would items of what is being sanctioned, withheld, from innocent people in Iraq be published in your EOS papers? What do these items for personal use of individual innocent people have to do with the prevention of war preparations? These lists were published worldwide. How do you think the people, who uphold their degenerate president who is instigating this, are thought of by the rest of the world? A new movie genre is being released now. In these your people are being held accountable. These depict surges of justifiable retribution, terrorism, and are being planted in the minds of those of other countries. Their ideal of America as the light of the world is being destroyed by your diplomacy of arrogance toward other countries' right of self-determination. These punishments are seen as appropriate by them, for they are unable to resist this injustice on a larger scale. The disturbances used as excuses to interfere within the borders of other countries are made to give the appearance that there is a necessity to intervene for the good of the citizens. These contrived situations are a hoax, created by subversive groups like the CIA. The resultant aftermath of your American intervention is hardly what you are told it is. Guilt at having been used as a tool will not serve to end this charade. Do not waste your time on it. Resolve to be a part of the solution in order that this error in perception may be rectified. The wake-up call is being sounded, and the internal intuitional agitation to shed the skin of this deceptive controlled experience has begun in earnest. The time of choosing to move with the flow of creation or to remain stuck within the hoax is upon all of humanity. Education, as it is known, is not an advantage. It is within each self-awareness that this process will take place. All are equal in opportunity in this process. Believe that. Purity of response outweighs educational degrees. Those who know the least of what is going on will hear first. You have been educated into the deception that provides the grease upon the wheels of their plans. You have been fooled into supporting them as they carried forth their plans that so far have been focused upon the uneducated and those unable to oppose the power you are giving the manifested evil ones through consent by believing their lies. Chapter 6. In the reality that surrounds your awareness in third-dimensional experience, it is easier to allow the seduction of your five senses into believing this is all there is to the duration of your stay within your body. Indeed, this has been further enhanced by the introduction of the visual aids of photos, movies, TV, and computers. To this add telegraph, telephone, satellites plus music and sporting events, all beginning in childhood at the earliest possible moment. Where is there, within this onslaught of mind-boggling confusion of distractions, time, or desire to contemplate within silence anything but a replay of these experiences? The conscious awareness tries to clear out the clutter of this overload so that contact can be made with an inner awareness and contemplation can begin of how and why you are within this experience. This is a process that goes on quite naturally, except when the conscious half of this combination is overloaded with stimuli. It should be immediately apparent to the reader that this is the case in modern North American/European parts of the world. Furthermore, it is spreading to the more affluent elements around the planet. Once exposed to this mind-stifling process, it appears to be relaxing. It is not relaxing, it is mind-suppressing. The creative, self-contemplating portions of the awareness are being shut down. The more the experience is repeated, the more of an addiction is acquired. Instead of enjoying mentally stimulating experiences, these are experienced as disquieting and downright irritating. Thus you see the joggers with their wired-up ears listening rather than contemplating their own thoughts. Somehow, they must stay connected to their addiction to distraction. If not radios, then it is smartphones to stay connected so one can pontificate with their friends. Can you, reading this, separate yourself from the distraction process to contemplate and absorb descriptions of the wondrous fantasy land existence you are experiencing? Where is what you call reality within a world that is mostly pretend? When you look in truth at the information you trade daily through your computer connections, how much of it is indeed concrete manifested reality? Is the money transferred from one account to another actually stacks of bills? Do that many stacks of denominations of money actually exist? Where are their bank safes to house trillions of dollars? Wake up. You are dreaming. But if you wake up you will have to face the solid reality that you have been used, and that is too frightening to contemplate. How long do you think this dream bubble can go on expanding before it breaks of its own thinness, or perhaps because there are ones that will enjoy pricking the bubble? Would it not be best to wake up early and begin to dream a new ending to the nightmare in disguise that you are now experiencing? Can you do that? Of course you can. It is your dream. That you have been programmed to dream a particular scenario can only continue as long as you allow it. There is something called lucid dreaming in which you awaken to an awareness that you are dreaming, then you can stop at that degree of consciousness, observe yourself dreaming and change the scenario of the dream. If you are being chased, create a safe hiding place, have the pursuer fall into a hole, or a train come between you, and you escape. You have been lulled into a dream state by the distraction of your conscious awareness in order to separate you from your self-aware state, which is the state in which you can observe your dream process. You can correlate this into an awareness that will allow you to reclaim the severed connection to both parts of your total awareness. In truth, your intuitive awareness is beginning now to become awake to the truth of this information. Do you know that you have the power within yourself to encourage this feeling and come out of the unnatural state of distraction into full awareness? This waking process can allow you to avoid the fear and panic that you think facing it might bring, and instead give you an ability to discover yourself as a focus of energetic and creative expression. It will not awaken the brute caveman persona you might expect. Instead, a contemplative ability to focus upon solutions will come forth that will replace what was formerly sensed as an undefeatable force in an unsolvable situation. This force was smothering you in a deepening dream reality that you will discover does not even exist. It may appear so to the five senses, but you perceive that beyond those lies a potential that supersedes what you have known before. It is the same potential that pulls entrepreneurs into successful businesses and explorers toward unknown places. It has an enticing intuitional call that pulls them from the known, to desire an experience that is unknown and holds such a vibration of potential of success that it cannot be resisted. Many hear the call, but few choose to answer it. That does not mean that it does not exist. The success stories are proof enough of its existence. It is hoped that this is information for you to contemplate apart from your normal mesmerizing existence. Is there something beyond this enticingly humdrum existence that could be even more rewarding? Indeed there is.